till I can't no more.
I got the horses in the bag. Horse stock is a tag.
Hi everyone and welcome to Podcast 36. I have exciting news for you today, as Marvel's Avengers will have Spider-Man in it after the game is released in 2021. He will only be a PlayStation exclusive character, so that means anyone who owns a PlayStation 4 or 5 will be able to play him. But this is exciting news as we have quite a lot of info right now about Spidey in the game. We don't know what role he'll play. Obviously, he'll most likely play a big role in the DLC campaign. However, I don't think he will be in the main game. Maybe reference to him, like for example, as we saw references to the Daily Bugle, which is, referencing the Spider-Man mythos. I think something like that. However, I don't think we will actually see Peter Parker himself appear in the game when we play it in September. And whether it's Insomniac's Spider-Man or not, it was confirmed a while back that Marvel Spider-Man and Marvel's Avengers are completely two different universes, so they are not connected whatsoever, even though Peter does make reference to the Avengers being in the West Coast, which the Avengers game takes place in the West Coast. So since it was confirmed, I don't really think we will see Insomniac Spider-Man come over to Marvel's Avengers in any type of way, even though he is a PlayStation exclusive character. Whether he's an adult or teenager, we don't really know. I'm leaning towards the thought that he might be an adult. However, I don't really have anything to go by other than a theory, of course. But alright, let's get to the blog. The blog was written by Jeff Adams, who is the Associate Art Director of Crystal Dynamics. The title of the blog reads, Marvel's Avengers get a helping hand from a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in 2021. It continues every once in a while. Life presents you with a moment where your pursuits and passions converge. Today is one such moment for me because I get to be the first to announce that our own Crystal Dynamics take on Spider-Man is teaming up with Miss Marvel, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk and Black Widow of Marvel's Avengers. This is so personal for me because I cannot remember a time I didn't love Marvel and its colourful characters, each more real and believable than the next. And despite my enjoyment of Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow and the other Avengers, there's always one character I saw myself reflected in, and that was Peter Parker, the sensational Spider-Man. Now, I get to channel my lifelong enjoyment of the character into a version of the interactive hero that I hope inspires the next generation of creators. And well, it's my dream come true. The blog goes on to read, his alliance with our Marvel's Avengers heroes is in perfect symmetry with my exposure to the character. When I was young, I accumulated a massive collection of Spider-Man books that told both dramatic and humorous stories of this colourful crime fighter who is a fixture of Marvel's New York and that used his power to protect his neighborhood. But one day I read an issue that pushed him out of his natural settings into the larger world with hilarious results. This story was titled The Commuter Comic, and it was a fantastic yarn about Spider-Man hunting down a robber in the suburbs. Watching Spider-Man adapt to a new surrounding was great contrast to his status quo. That tone is exactly what we want to capture for him in Marvel's Avengers, a similar but fresh Spider-Man who needs to evolve to take on global threats along with Earth's mightiest heroes. So what I took from the blog so far is that I don't think we will see Spider-Man in New York, as he is, a New York superhero, born and raised there. Sometimes when you think of New York, especially in the Marvel universe, you think of Spider-Man because he's a character who pretty much is New York, if you think about it. But I think when they referenced the comic, the Commuter Comic, basically a comic where he doesn't have any, tall buildings to swing, and he's basically put out his comfort zone when he's chasing a mugger. And I think that's what they are planning on doing with Marvel's Avengers. So I don't think when we see Peter Parker, he will be in New York. Maybe he will be in the first portion of the campaign, but I don't think for the most part we will see Peter. I think they will do something different, at the same time staying true to who the character is, and also the way you play him. And also I don't know if the gameplay will be similar to Spider-Man PS4, because that gameplay is completely focuses on Spider-Man, while this game has to take into account with other characters like Iron Man, Hulk, Thor and Black Widow and etc. But who knows, we just have to wait and see. To make sure his team up goes smoothly, Vince Napoli, our lead combat designer, is hard at work making Spider-Man just as great on the sticks as he is on the page. This means making sure our hero moves and fights like he should, no matter which one of our war zones he finds himself in. When he's arcing through the air on his web line, we want you to feel graceful and light and be able to utilize a variety of web configuration and gadgets to enhance your traversal. Spider-Man's impressive acrobatic abilities will complement the experience, allowing you to seamlessly transition from navigation to combat. When Spider-Man takes on evildoers, he will do so fluidly with signature flair, but also with enhanced customization we've created for Marvel's Avengers. Just like our other heroes, you will get to use the unique skill trees Vince and his team have designed to specialize how your Spider-Man plays in our world. An impressive suit, iconic abilities and attacks will be of your disposal, and you'll get to decide which gadget and skills you wish to upgrade. These enhancements will be necessary to take on the threats coming his way. Now this is exciting because they'll be treating Spider-Man like they have to treat other characters by giving his separate skill tree and also his different gadgets that you can use, and also thinking about his traversal as well. Since they said that, you know, this Spider-Man, when you play him, you're going to be feeling more graceful and light compared to Spider-Man PS4, where you actually do feel a little bit of weight when you're web swinging. Since, you know, when Insomniac was developing this web swinging for Spider-Man PS4, they literally thought about the physics and how it would work in real life. I hope, you know, they don't actually make him, you know, swing from clouds. I don't think they will, because, you know, you can see several gameplays from the war table that, like, when you see Black Widow swing, she's pretty much swinging from the buildings and also the lampposts, and you can see the same for Kamala Khan as well. Like, you can see her grabbing onto the lamppost and just swinging. And I think with Spider-Man they're gonna, you know, do the same thing and also like treat the character seriously when it comes to gameplay and combat, which I'm glad to hear. Despite all the great solo adventures Spider-Man's been on, standing shoulder to shoulder with the likes of Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow and Miss Marvel, it's going to add a whole new dimension. Players are going to face the world's most dangerous threats together using Spider-Man's innate powers, boosted with a little help from his new friends. Partnering with the Avengers gives Spider-Man complete access to impressive technology available to the team, such as customized web shooter based technology from Hank Pym, S.H.I.E.L.D., Stark Industries and more. And by constructing the perfect gear and skills combination, you will get the chance to live your superhero dreams through your ideal Spider-Man. So when you're making your own as Peter Parker, you can use, you know, different text from, as they said, S.H.I.E.L.D., Hank Pym and also Stark Industries to improve the already tech Peter has. So for example, his suits or even his web shooters, and maybe even possibly other gadgets. You could create like taser webs or different webbing combinations as well, which would be exciting to see, kind of like in Spider-Man PS4, when you basically craft different weapons and skills that you can use for your Spider-Man. I think they're going to be doing the same thing, but I think it's more going to be how he would feel different compared to other people's Spider-Man. Yeah, I think when they're looking at the combat, they're probably going to take a lot of inspirations from Insomniac Spider-Man, but who knows, if they're going to make it their own thing, that's great as far as it's good, which I believe it's going to be. At least I hope so. It's not enough for Spider-Man to play like he should, he also needs to look like he should. That's why we're going through the process of conceptualizing his suit. We went back to the beginning. Steve Ditko set the standards with his Spider-Man suit, and John Romita Sr. evolved it with an icon recognized the world over. Fans can expect to see Ditko and Romita's influence in our take on the hero. To a talented artist have defined the character look over his long history. When Spider-Man comes to our stable of heroes, we'll be making his debut in an in-game event that will introduce him to the wider world of Marvel's Avengers. The event is comprised of a series of unique challenges for the hero to take on, his abilities and yielding some exciting results. Unlike the rest of our heroes in Marvel's Avengers, we will offer multiple cosmetic outfits and gameplay experience options, so you can make your version of the Walker a reality. It's never been a better time to be a Spider-Man fan. The team of Crystal Dynamics, along with our partners, are overjoyed that we get to be a part of this hero's gaming journey. We can't wait for you to add Spider-Man to your Marvel Avengers roster in early 2021, and we've promised before that he will be available to no additional cost to owners of the base game, exclusive on PlayStation. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy playing Marvel's Avengers when it launches on PlayStation 4 on September 4th, 2020. It comes to the PlayStation 5 later this holiday. So this is wonderful to hear that they will be taking influences from the early Steve Ditko and John Romita Sr.'s arts of Spider-Man, which are arts that are pretty much iconic to the character. So that it's exciting that they will be going back from the beginning, even though my personal favorite artist for Spider-Man is Mark Bagley. I have so much respect and love for the early Steve Ditko and John Romita Sr. arts of the character, which are, to me, one of the most iconic pieces of art for a comic book character. Especially like when I think of Spider-Man, I think of John Romita Sr. art, as you know, that is the art been exposed to more the most. So I'm glad to see that, you know, even though they might be, you know, creating their own design for the character, for example, like they did with Captain America, but also, you know, still have the things that make him Captain America at the end of the day, like the shield, the star on the chest, the red and white stripes. I think for Spider-Man, I think they will just more so stick to his roots from the comics, but who knows. I'm excited to see how he will look in the game, and even if I don't like the character's design, you can always, you know, customize or pick an alternate suits, even though alternate suits do cost money. Who knows what kind of suits they'll bring. Hopefully some, you know, I'm hoping for the symbiote suit. If they get the symbiote suit, maybe I'll buy it, who knows. I know that, you know, some people were divisive on the Hawkeye design, and I'll quickly give my thoughts on it. Basically, I thought it was a pretty good design in my opinion. I know that a lot of people are wondering why he's bald in the Marvel's Avengers game. However, you know, I think a lot of people didn't know that Hawkeye did have a bald haircut in the comics for a time. It's not really well known. It did happen. I think even in the Ultimate comics as well, if I'm not mistaken. However, I do know that he was bald in the comics one time. At least 616 he was. Yeah, I love most of the designs in Marvel's Avengers so far. Captain America for me is a bit iffy, but I love Iron Man. So I love, you know, Hulk you can't really go wrong with. I love Thor's, I love Miss Marvel's, I love Black Widow's, I love all of the designs, even Taskmaster, and the small glimpses we got of Abomination. But yeah, so far they haven't really let me down when it comes to design. So, you know, with an iconic character like Spider-Man, I just I don't think that anything can go wrong, especially when he has such an iconic look. And they're gonna be taking influences from the some of the best artists for the character in the character's history, so especially one of them being the co-creator of the character. So I'm pretty hopeful for not just the character of Spider-Man himself, but also, you know, the game in general. I'm hopeful that it will go well, at least, you know, in my opinion. How about you guys? Are you excited for Spider-Man in Marvel's Avengers? How do you feel about him, you know, not appearing in Xbox or PC? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please like, and if you want more, please subscribe. To begin, Protocol 36.